Karen called 911 on my pet for trespassing. She didn't know I'm a retired U.S. Senator. How would you react if someone called 911 on your beloved pet for merely trespassing, not knowing you're a retired U.S. Senator with a deep understanding of justice? The quiet solitude of my sprawling lakeside estate, Willow Creek Manor, was typically broken only by the gentle lapping of waves against the shore and the contented purr of Senator Mittens, my cherished Maine Coon cat. Mittens, a majestic, fluffy creature with an adventurous spirit, often enjoyed supervised strolls around the expansive grounds, which were clearly delineated by a tasteful, low-lying stone wall and subtle, well-maintained fencing. As a retired U.S. Senator, Eleanor Ellie Vance, I relished this peaceful retreat from decades of political turmoil, dedicating my golden years to philanthropy and quiet contemplation. Then came Karen, not with a neighborly wave, but with a shriek that pierced the morning calm. I was enjoying my coffee on the veranda, watching Mittens explore a patch of sun-drenched catnip near our property line, when a woman in a garish tracksuit, her face contorted in an ugly grimace, stormed across the meticulously manicured lawn of the adjacent property. This was Brenda Albright, the notoriously self-appointed queen of the Grand Oaks Estates HOA, a new, exclusive development that had expanded right up to our historic boundary. That animal is a menace, Brenda shrieked, her voice shrill and piercing, making Mittens's ears twitch in annoyance. Your feral beast is trespassing on Grand Oaks property. It's a health hazard, spreading fleas and God knows what diseases. It's frightening our purebred poodles and disrupting the pristine elegance of our community. We have received numerous complaints about this unleashed creature and its unsupervised roaming. This is a direct violation of our HOA's pet containment and sanitation bylaws. I demand you leash that wretched cat immediately, confine it indoors, or face massive fines and immediate legal action. She then pulled out her phone, already dialing. Yes, I'd like to report a dangerous, unleashed animal trespassing on private property, and the owner is refusing to cooperate. The main conflict, audacious and utterly infuriating, was laid bare. Brenda, armed with baseless accusations and a profound disregard for common sense, was demanding the complete confinement of my beloved, harmless cat, fabricating ludicrous claims of public nuisance, and even calling 911, all while completely disregarding my clear property rights. Her demands were not only ludicrous but rooted in a profound sense of entitlement and a pathological need for control, treating my pet and my established lifestyle as a personal affront to her luxury living. Her attitude was one of blatant contempt, believing her personal preferences granted her the right to intrude, dictate, and impose rules on sovereign land, completely ignoring established law and the truth. I put down my coffee, a slow, dangerous calm settling over me. Ms. Albright, I said, my voice deceptively soft, carrying clearly across the expanse. Firstly, Senator Mittens is a cherished family member, not a feral beast. Secondly, he is well within my property lines, as clearly indicated by my stone wall. Thirdly, this is private property, and your HOA has absolutely no jurisdiction here, nor any right to dictate what happens on my land. And finally, calling 911 for a domestic cat on its owner's property is a flagrant misuse of emergency services. I suggest you end this charade and leave before I consider taking this matter to a far more appropriate authority. I even pointed to the specific, clearly visible stone markers that delineated our boundary. Brenda, however, merely scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. Nonsense, Senator Vance. Your stone wall is merely decorative. Your property's presence impacts our community's prestige. Our HOA bylaws supersede your antiquated notions of property rights when it comes to preserving our quality of life. And as for authorities, the police will agree with us. They always do. Her tone was chillingly arrogant, her eyes holding a glint of perverse pleasure, as if she reveled in her perceived power to command authorities. Within minutes, 2 county sheriff's patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing, alerted by Brenda's own frantic 911 call. Brenda immediately launched into a dramatic, fabricated account, claiming Mittens had attacked her and was a danger to the community, while I was threatening her. The deputies, looking increasingly bewildered, tried to make sense of the situation, eyeing Mittens, who was now calmly grooming himself on a sun-drenched rock. Then, Brenda's audacity escalated into a direct, shocking act of animal cruelty and property destruction. While the deputies were distracted, Brenda, with a triumphant sneer, pointed to a custom-built, miniature, solar-powered catio, a secure outdoor enclosure I had built for Mittens's occasional supervised sunbathing. And demolish that unsightly structure, she shrieked. One of her HOA volunteers, a nervous-looking man clearly trying to appease her, hesitantly approached the catio. With a grunt of effort, he kicked and pried at the custom-built catio, causing its delicate solar panels to shatter and its intricate mesh to tear, sending sharp pieces flying. Then, Brenda herself, with a perverse sense of satisfaction, grabbed Mittens's favorite, hand-knitted cat bed, which was sitting just outside the catio, and tore it to shreds with her bare hands, scattering its stuffing across the lawn. It was a calculated, malicious act designed to damage my property, destroy Mittens's comfort, and demonstrate her perceived dominance. Right after Brenda's act of destruction and brazen vandalism, a crucial twist unfolded from an unexpected source. Unbeknownst to Brenda, Willow Creek Manor was equipped with a redundant, military-grade surveillance system, a legacy of my past career, designed to monitor the perimeter for security threats. One of these cameras, disguised as a garden gnome, was perfectly positioned to capture the entire front yard, including Brenda's arrival, her 911 call, her arrest command, and the destruction of the catio and cat bed. It had a highly sensitive, directional microphone as well. It showed Brenda's explicit commands, her triumphant smirk as the catio shattered, and her distinct, loud declaration, "That'll teach you to defy Grand Oaks HOA." Crucially, the camera also captured Brenda, a week prior, cutting the support wires to a critical public walking bridge that connected a portion of Grand Oaks Estates to a public park, likely hoping to force the city to reroute the path through her exclusive community. The larger consequence of Brenda's actions became terrifyingly clear. The catio and Mittens's presence weren't just personal matters. Senator Mittens was the official, beloved mascot for a nationwide literacy program for children, Pause for Pages, which I heavily funded. His image, often featured with his custom catio, was used in countless educational materials and public service announcements encouraging children to read. Her deliberate destruction of his property and her public slander of a beloved animal weren't just petty acts of vandalism. They directly jeopardized a critical public education initiative, potentially undermining its credibility and discouraging engagement from thousands of children across the country. Her petty vendetta had escalated into a direct assault on national public welfare and education, elevating her personal malice to a matter of profound civic and humanitarian significance. Armed with my irrefutable surveillance video footage, including the bridge sabotage, the furious national director of Pause for Pages, and my own burning desire for justice, I was done being subtle. When the county sheriff's deputies, looking utterly perplexed, finally returned to us, Brenda was still loudly complaining about unruly animals and uncooperative landowners. "Officer, this man is a menace. His cat attacked me." "Actually, Ms. Albright," I retorted, my voice cutting through her bluster, amplified by the news cameras that had just pulled up, having been tipped off by the Pause for Pages director. "Your pet containment call is about to become an arrest for felony vandalism, animal cruelty, reckless endangerment, and illegal tampering with public infrastructure." I then projected my surveillance footage onto a large, portable screen for the deputies and the news crew. The raw, unedited video of Brenda's malicious acts played for all to see. Her directing the destruction of the catio, her triumphant sneer, her tearing the cat bed, and the damning footage of her cutting the public bridge's support wires. The deputies looked aghast, and the assembled news crew gasped. Brenda's face went from smug confidence to utter, white-faced terror. "That's manipulated. That camera is illegal. This is a malicious attack on my character and the HOA's integrity," she shrieked, desperately trying to manipulate the situation, her voice shrill and breaking. She started pointing fingers, trying to blame Mittens, me, anyone but herself. Just as her pathetic denials reached their peak, the silence was shattered by the distinct wail of additional sirens. More county sheriff's vehicles, but also a sleek black SUV marked FBI, Public Safety Division, pulled up. Out of the lead vehicle stepped a grim-faced special agent, followed by a representative from the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, and the furious National Director of Pause for Pages. The DOJ representative spoke first, his voice cold and cutting. "Ms. Albright, your actions have directly impacted a federally supported public education program and a beloved mascot. This is a severe civil violation and potentially a criminal one." The FBI special agent stepped forward. "And Ms. Albright, we've also been investigating reports of widespread fraudulent practices and financial irregularities within the Grand Oaks Estates HOA, specifically regarding the coercive acquisition of public lands for private amenity use and the diversion of HOA funds to shell corporations ostensibly for community enhancement projects. Your documented acts of felony vandalism, animal cruelty, reckless endangerment, illegal tampering with public infrastructure, and the misuse of emergency services align perfectly with these ongoing investigations. Furthermore, we have evidence of significant sums of HOA funds being diverted to offshore accounts linked to your shell corporations, ostensibly for development projects that never materialized, and a history of utilizing aggressive tactics to expand HOA influence beyond its legal boundaries." A nervous murmur rippled through the gathered Grand Oaks Estates residents, who had followed the commotion, as one stammered to the FBI agent, She told us the beautification fees were for our new private walking trails. We had no idea the money was going to her husband's landscaping company in the Bahamas. It was a chilling revelation. Brenda wasn't just a busybody. She was a criminal mastermind, systematically defrauding her own members, attempting to seize public resources, and sabotaging critical public service initiatives for massive personal profit, with the pet bylaws merely a cover for her grand scheme. A past incident, whispered among her former colleagues, revealed that Brenda had been previously disbarred from a regional architecture board for systematic abuse of zoning laws for personal gain. The consequences for Brenda Albright were immediate and utterly devastating. She was arrested by federal and local authorities on multiple charges, including federal offenses for obstructing a public service initiative, felony vandalism, animal cruelty, reckless endangerment, illegal tampering with public infrastructure, misuse of emergency services, and later, as the full extent of the fraud was uncovered, for massive embezzlement, wire fraud, and racketeering. The Grand Oaks Estates HOA was placed under immediate federal oversight, its assets frozen, and a full forensic audit exposed tens of millions in stolen funds, a systematic scheme orchestrated by Brenda and her network. Her carefully cultivated image as the benevolent community leader shattered into irreparable pieces. The HOA residents she had once intimidated and defrauded now turned on her, furious at being manipulated and exploited, their HOA funds stolen, and their properties facing legal and environmental liabilities due to her criminal actions. Her social circles, built on an illusion of wealth and influence, abandoned her completely, unwilling to be associated with such public disgrace. Her vast real estate holdings, her fortune, her status, her perceived power all confiscated as part of the ongoing investigation and subsequent lawsuits. She lost everything: her freedom, her fortune, and her reputation. The ultimate irony was that her audacious attempt to control my property and arrest my cat led to the complete unraveling of her vast, illegal enterprise, culminating in a lengthy federal prison sentence. As for Willow Creek Manor, it truly became a sanctuary. The catio was rebuilt, stronger than ever, and Senator Mittens, now an even greater celebrity, continued his dignified strolls, often accompanied by local children who brought him fan mail. The Pause for Pages program flourished, receiving a surge of new donations and volunteers, inspired by the story. The satisfaction was immense, watching her literal and figurative empire crumble before her eyes, a quiet triumph of justice and peace over arrogant greed and rampant criminality. What's your take on this? When someone so brazenly abuses power, commits felony vandalism, endangers public safety, and defrauds an entire community, does their complete and utter downfall, even to federal prison, truly serve justice? Or is there a point where the consequences become too extreme?